Hey everybody, I'm back. Okay, so brows are like my favorite thing. Look at that, right? Crazy. What a difference a brow makes. So I'm going to show you guys my favorite tools to get the brows that I like. I'm going to use our Brow Obsession brow palette and the Brow Artist brush. Okay, so to get started, first off, these palettes come in 3 shades. There's blonde, brunette, and dark brunette / black. I use the brunette palette. If you're not sure what you need, send me a picture and I can hook you up. So inside the palette, you're gonna have 2 powders. Ignore my dirty mirror there. You're gonna have a corrector cream, a highlight cream, and a setting wax. So we're gonna start with the angled end of the Brow Artist brush, and I'm gonna go into powder number 2, which is the dark powder. Everything is numbered in here, so you can kind of just follow the order if that works for you. Since my brows are a little bit dark, I kind of go in an order of my own. And you guys, there are so many ways that you can do your brows. I'm just showing you what works for me. So I always start by just kind of tracing along the lower brow line. I don't do anything crazy. I just follow that line all the way to just kind of define it. And once I get the bottom done, I start with the top. So I start at kind of the peak of my arch and work down the tail like so, and then I start working kind of in reverse. So I start working that arch and really get it the way that I want it. I do kind of build up my arch a little bit just because I've got some sparse spots in my brows back there, so super fun stuff. And then I just start coming up towards the front of my eyebrow, right along the top side of the brow line. If you want to stay natural, just follow your own hair growth pattern. Don't really go too crazy with it, but you can build up your brows if that's what you like to do. So once I get almost all the way in with my line, I stop. I don't come all the way because we're going to have the front part a little bit lighter. It just keeps things a little more natural looking. So still using that darker powder, I start right in front of my arch and work my way back, just filling in that eyebrow. Like so. Okay, and then I told you we're going in with the lighter powder. So we're coming to powder number 1, and I'm still using the angle end of my brush, and I'm gonna set it on this line here and flick up. And that's just kind of gonna blend out that line so we don't have that harsh line left behind. And it's just gonna fill in that whole front portion of the brow. Now, if you do have some kind of sparse spots left, go back to your dark again. If you're using the darker one to fill in, and just make a couple little hair-like strokes in the direction that your hair grows. Okay, so brow is lined and filled in. That was super fast, right? Now I'm gonna go in with the corrector cream and the flat edge of my brush. And I'm just gonna follow my line all the way on the bottom first. And this will just kind of clean things up, give you nice crisp lines, and really help define that eyebrow. This is how we get the eyebrows on fleek, y'all, okay? So I am just following that all the way around. If you've kind of went over your line or under your line here or there, you'll be able to really cover that with this corrector. And it does leave behind a little pink line, so I'm gonna show you what I do to get rid of that, because you don't want this big, like, obvious pink line under there, right? So once I get my correcting done, I just grab that cream and pull it downwards and let it kind of fade away. So your corrector is gonna act kind of like a highlight under that brow bone. And then of course we'll go back through with our highlighting cream when we get done and give it a little shimmer. All right, so there's the underside. Now we're gonna take the corrector cream and we're gonna go along the top edge of the brow. And I start at my arch and work my way down. Like that. And then I'm gonna come up on the top side. And again, I just start working backwards towards the front of the brow. I keep going into this palette. You guys will notice that a lot when I do my brows. I'm constantly going into my palette. These colors are very pigmented and it only takes a tiny bit of product. So I just add a very little bit at a time to my brush so that I'm not over applying. Okay, and then once I get done with the top, I set my brush on its flat side and just smooth out the pink line on the top side. Since I usually don't have my full face done by this point, I'll go back in with my liquid foundation brush and just blend right over the top edge and just kind of whisk that color away. So now our brows are shaped. You can go back in and touch up any areas that you may have overcorrected. So right here at the back of my arch, I kind of snipped that off with my corrector. Otherwise we look good. And we're gonna finish with the setting wax. So again, with the angle side of my brush, I go in flat against the product first. And I'm gonna start right here in the front and just flick up. You don't need a lot of wax to set those brows. This is gonna set that powder in place. It's going to keep your brows from straying and getting out of control during the day. But after you get past that front part, I just follow the direction of my brow growth all the way down the tail. Of course, it's always good when you get done with your brows to kind of take a peek, make sure that they match. Remember, your brows are sisters, they're not twins, okay? All right, you guys, I hope that that helped. To finish out, you can use a little bit of the highlight cream. I like to use my finger, it kind of helps it warm up to your skin, and just run that all along the underside of the brow. It'll add in a little shimmer and tone down the pink from the corrector. And if you want to put a little bit on the top side too, go right over that arch to bring in some light and really draw attention and focus to those eyebrows. I hope that this was helpful to you guys. If you have any questions, let me know.